What's good, everyone? This is the Crypto Captain back with a new video, and in today's video I wanted to talk about the price action of Solana. So this is my first video talking about Solana, and I think this is a good altcoin for if you're looking to trade. There's a lot of strong movements from Solana. As you can see, I did some paper trades here, and sometimes it can be very predictable when the trend is changing on this altcoin, and it could be good entries for shorts potentially in the next weeks. But if we're having a look here, we've seen the uptrend and the change of directory happening with Solana from the 7th of April 2025, and it's held this very strong uptrend, similar to what we've seen with Casper and other strong altcoins at the moment. But now it's looking interesting that it's seeming to slightly lose momentum looking on the daily chart, and this resistance level at $174 for Solana looks like there is some resistance and struggle, and potentially we could see a pullback to the $157 support line I had here from previous resistance line from the 26th of April. And you saw when Solana broke this resistance line, it went to new highs on the short term at $184 before chopping sideways for a bit. But you can notice here, if I zoom in a bit, that there is struggle at this resistance line and slight loss of momentum. And also here, from the cursor I'm showing you, this for me is a signal of very harsh selling. And we saw this from this rejection here at $183. And we saw this on the resistance line here at $185. You saw these two wicks and a lot of selling pressure that pushed Solana back down to roughly $159. And now it's looking like Solana hasn't stayed above and closed on the daily above the $174 level. So it's looking more likely that a pullback in the short term to this support line at $157 is more probable than a continuation to the upside, just for now, in the short term. However, this could change if there's a lot of heavy buying from Bitcoin and the breakout to 130k does happen. Then we could see the retest of this $184 resistance line and back to retest the all-time high and potentially $210 level. So however, I do think that there is a possibility in the short term we see a slight pullback. However, I do think in the short term we could see a slight pullback with altcoins before heading higher to retest previous all-time highs from the beginning of this year, and then higher to new all-time highs when altcoin season arrives. But until then, the short term is showing us that the pullback to these main support levels seems more likely, and I think with best case for bear traders and those shorting right now, this support line at $140 could be in effect before heading higher. But this is more of a less probable outcome with the current uptrend and market conditions, with Bitcoin gaining a lot of momentum. So a shorter pullback seems to be more likely. But what we like to see, especially with altcoins, is when you see steady growth and an uptrend like this, instead of a fast wick to the upside that is short-lived and a massive consolidation phase occurs after, when we see steady momentum and price action like this on the daily, when small buys add up and new floors are gained, this is what we like to see for mid to long-term targets for higher prices, for large, long swing trades. And I think Solana this bull cycle is a good contender for one of the top altcoins to perform, especially when altcoin season arrives, hopefully in Q3 to Q4 of this year, possibly in October 2025, when all the profits from Bitcoin flow into the best performing altcoins that have been seen in the market in the last year or so. And right now, though, a pullback seems possible. If we were to go higher, I think the next resistance line for Solana, we could be looking at the $205 level. And from there, we could look for possible pullback to like $185 from previous resistance, flipped into support. And as you can see from this steady rise, that seems probable that this uptrend will have small consolidation phases until a major catalyst like a huge altcoin season arrives, where we see price action like this with Solana, where the dailies are just large green candles, green, and there's just no stopping until certain big targets are met. So this is my brief analysis on Solana today. If you like my video today, please remember to like and subscribe. So that's it for today. With my video on Solana on the daily and weekly time frame, and what we're looking at. So that's it for today on my technical analysis on Solana at the moment. If you've liked my video today, please remember to like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.